Hi, I'm Ree from mummyof4.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video for you because today is the day that Mrs Hinch's Activity Journal is released, and I ordered mine a few weeks ago and it's just arrived. So this is gonna be the very first look. I have not even opened this yet, so we're gonna take a look inside at this lovely activity journal that Mrs Hinch has been working very hard on. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on it, show you all through the book, so stay tuned for all that. But before we get into that, if you don't know me already, I'm Ree from mummyof4.com. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, if you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 7 PM. I do lots of speed cleans, shop with me's, hauls, reviews, recommendations, as well as parenting tips, tricks, hacks and advice for busy mums to help you get organised and make your lives generally easier. Now let's dive into the activity journal. Now if you haven't got your copy of this yet and you would like to take a look at one, you can find a link down below in the description. Full disclosure is an affiliate link, which means you will not only be supporting Mrs Hinch by buying her activity journal, but you'll be supporting my channel too. So thank you in advance for everyone that uses that link. Now one final thing before we look inside this activity journal. Now I know that this is a journal, so therefore it's designed to be written in, and Mrs Hinch uses very, very pretty pens. Now I love a pretty pen, don't get me wrong, I love a pretty pen, but what I don't love is when I make mistakes and spoil my pretty books. That really upsets me. So what I will be using to write in my activity journal is one of these. You've been following me for a while now, you know I am obsessed with erasable pens because they write like a normal pen, your handwriting looks fab in them, but if you make a mistake, you can quite simply turn it around and rub out with the other end. So how fantastic is that? I'm not going to be limited just to boring black, I've got a bit of a problem. All of these are erasable pens. I will link all of these down below, but they are lovely pretty colours. Some of them are more like felt tip with erasers, and some of them are more like fine liners with erasers that are more for writing. I will link all of those down below in case you want to make the inside of your Hinch Activity Journal pretty, but are a bit like me and get really upset with mistakes, because you can rub them out. So as we open up, we have got Mrs Hinch's Activity Journal. See, these are the pretty pens that she uses, which are super gorgeous. But I'm really worried about my bad handwriting spoiling my book. So that's why I'm going to be using my erasables. Inside we have got sort of like a dedication from Mrs Hinch herself, followed by why she wrote this book and some sort of lovely words. I'm going to sit and read all of this properly later once I've kind of shown you through it all. And then we've got what's in this activity journal. So a lot of time when she has we have chats through our DMs, and when we've met each other in person, you tell me how busy your lives are, how stressful it is trying to balance everything you have going on. It makes me happier than I can ever tell you. Watching my stories gives you a little break from your busy day, a break to just sit down, relax for a few minutes with a cup of tea and me and my crazy little Hinch family life. I wanted from this book to give us all more reasons to sit down and find an excuse to take some me time. Making time for ourselves is so important. I've got to say, Mrs Hinch, I agree with you. I think we all need a bit more me time. I'm going to be the first to stick my hands up and say that I do struggle to kind of sit down and take me time. As you know, I've got 4 children, as you can tell from the name of the channel, and taking a break can be difficult. So hopefully as we dive through this activity journal, that will give us some sort of prompts to do that. So what we've got then as we go through, we've got how to use this activity journal. Apparently this book is all yours to use exactly as you'd like. There are no rules here. And then we move through, we have some examples of how Mrs Hinch herself uses her very own activity journal. So we've got some examples of what you might put on your own Hinch list. And if you haven't been following Mrs Hinch, I mean, where have you been living? But you know, her Hinch list is just like her to-do list of things that she needs to get done, and then she finds ticking them off quite satisfying. Now, I am totally on board with this. I find that if I've got a list and everything is ticked off, I feel great. It gives you the hit of feel-good hormones that says, yes, I've achieved this, and it does make me feel a lot better. So in here, we've got an example of how she's filled out her journal pages. which you can read through for kind of an insight into the kind of things that you might use to fill out your journal. I know it can be a bit tricky, can't it, when you first have a journal, to think what sort of stuff could you be putting in it. So I think it's quite nice that she's put that as like a prompt to give us all some ideas. Then we've got an all about you page. First I'm going to tell you a little bit all about me, then I'd love to get to know you better. She's filled hers out with her name and all of her things that she likes. Favourite colour, grey all the way. Favourite saying, all the best. There we go, we'd probably get a guess over those, couldn't we? And then now it's your turn to fill out. So this will be a nice thing to do to sit down, actually, something to force you to sit down just to fill out some nice bits and pieces. I'm sure that can be quite cathartic. And then we've got goals are dreams with a guide. So yeah, agree with that. I am massively into goal setting, and I didn't realise this book had goal setting in it. Obviously I use goal setting a lot for what I'm doing with my YouTube channel or my blog or my business, but I think goal setting can be important for anything. Other things I'm doing lots of decluttering at the moment. I will link up here actually to the decluttering videos I've been doing. I'm really trying to declutter our house, because although it may look clean and tidy kind of on the surface, if you look inside a lot of the boxes or in some of the wardrobes, it's like, oh, and it does cause me massive anxiety. So some of my non-work related type goals are decluttering, and I think declutter whole house is too much of a goal. So breaking my goals down, so my decluttering goals, for example, into these different sections. So we've got my goals, so that's my goal here for goal 1 might be declutter my whole house. Maybe if I break it down to, in the next week I want to declutter some of the boxes in my office and some stuff out the children's bathroom, and then the next month I want to have achieved more. And then if I break it down like that, it does feel more manageable and not like, ugh, overwhelming task. And then it's got different spaces for different goals, because obviously like decluttering goal I can break down here. Perhaps I might break down a work one or an exercise one. For example, if I ever get back down to doing Couch to 5K, which, you know how many times I've started that and then given up on that. Okay, so let's get started. We've now got a very gorgeous little picture. Now I'd love to know, did Mrs Hinch herself draw these? I think she has quite a lot of fan art sent in, doesn't she? But this is her dog Henry. This page would be nice to colour in, wouldn't it? You know, this sort of adult colouring. If you feel like doing a bit of relaxing and unwinding your mind, that would be a pretty page to colour in. The next pages are blank for us to fill in, and these are weekly Hinch lists. Breaking up the Hinch list, so we've got Hinch list here continued, so we've got 3 pages of Hinch list, and then we've got a little activity. We've got a Hinctionary word search. Brilliant. How many different Hinch things have we managed to fit in here? Oh, and look, we've got words to search for like Pinky and Henry Hinch. So cute. It looks like this book is not exactly what I expected it to be. So lots of the journals and planners and things I've had before are kind of like lots of introduction and stuff at the beginning, pages and pages and pages like this without much other content. But what the lovely Mrs Hinch has done is broken it up with lots of different bits and pieces. It's actually a lot more activity, so it's not just a journal, it's actually activity. So the next one we've got is be kind to yourself. I want to start by saying that you are perfect exactly the way you are. Oh, thank you. I know how easy it is for us to judge ourselves and how hard it can be to notice our good points. We don't want to build ourselves up in case we are knocked down. Well, this might feel a bit cringe now, but I'm going to ask you to list your good points and write them down. I'll give it a go later. And draw yourself here. Well, that shouldn't take me long to draw a stick man, because that's pretty much the level of my art. Next we've got some top 10 hinching must-haves. Now a lot of these look pretty familiar. A lot of these are in my cleaning essential list too. I've got a couple of videos actually which I shall link up here now, which link all of my favourite cleaning products that I love and wouldn't be without. And then we've got a colouring activity. Do you know what? I know this is supposed to be for grown-ups, but my girls would love to help me do this. So perhaps, as long as I use the erasable pens, I'll let them help me with this page. And then we've got on to Calm Cozy Corner, where she wants you to describe your own perfect calm space. I think these things are really lovely for just making us stop and think about, like, have I got a calm cozy corner to go to? And perhaps these prompts will actually help us all, not just, you know, make lists, but actually think a bit more, perhaps a bit more about self-care. Perhaps what this is actually a lot more about is a lot more about self-care than I realised it would be. No one is you and that is your power. Oh, see, these are nice little quotes, aren't they? And then my journal, things I've accomplished this week. What's the best day of this week and why? What was most challenging day of this week and why? Usually swimming day for me, usually swimming day. This week I was inspired by, if I could relive any moment of this week, which one would it be and why? Favourite quote of the week, favourite thing I hinched this week, and things I'm looking forward to next week. Oh, that's so lovely. And then we're going on to the hinge list again, and these are broken up again after the hinge list by some more lovely activities, including, here we go, we've got a category challenge, shop name, fill in the blanks with the words that begin with H. She really, I am impressed, Mrs Hinch, at how many hinge and H related activities you've managed to come up with, because we are only on page 46 and this book is 288 pages long. So I'm impressed, you've worked hard on this. Got a happiness wheel, and then on to the journal again. So each week seems to be punctuated by a list of things to achieve over the course of the week. I think that's quite sensible actually, because although I tend to work in day-by-day things, I know as a really busy mum, sometimes we don't get through everything we wanted to get through during that day. So perhaps giving us tasks that we want to achieve by the end of the week is a nice kind of realistic way to look at things. There you go. Starting your own hinching playlist, or let me know in the comments which are your kind of motivational songs. So we've got a few here from Mrs Hinch, Ain't the Mountain High Enough, Beyonce I Was Here, and a few others. Let me know in the comments which are your songs that you put on to get going when you need to get your cleaning on. Let me know. Then we've got a dot to dot, this or that, which one you, which TV show is your favourite. Just little things to go through. These are kind of like, this is all quite reminiscent a lot of some of the nice things that we find on Instagram that are quite engaging. Really nice that it's kind of been pulled into one place. So here is a list of places of home improvements that you can make to kind of upcycle things around your home. She's saying here about how you don't have to spend a lot to make your home really nice and really upcycle things, and I think that's really true. Doodle Me, a great way to tap into your arty side is to get creative. Great way to relax. I said before, I'm no artist, but I enjoy getting all my pens out and let's have a go. Let us all do the same on this page. So it will be really fun to see actually when everybody else gets their activity journals. I'm sure these will be all over Instagram. I mean, I can put mine on. I'll just pretend that my 2-year-old did mine with her left hand. That's what it looked like by the time I finished my drawing. And then we go back through to the standard pages again. A bit of Sudoku. What home means to me. Home is a karate chop cushion. Home is the familiar scent of Zoflora, my favourite wax melt, and a freshly pined loo. And home is whenever Jamie, Ronnie and Henry are here. Oh, so cute. And then home is 5 things that home means to you. So let me know in the comments actually, what does home mean to you? I think to me, yeah, I do feel like when my home smells clean, when I've been cleaning and I can smell Zoflora and things, that feels very homely. That makes me feel really happy. And obviously when I've got my little ones around me, I'm gonna add a little caveat to that, when I've got my little ones around me and they're all happy, because you know, when they're all scrapping, it's like, you know, a bit more stressful. So in my ideal, what home means to me, my little ones are all around me and they're all happy and smiley. Oh, we've even got a recipe for Sophie's nachos in here. Grow some plant power. I must admit that all the plants in my house are plastic, including the lawn, which is actually astroturf. Not very good at keeping plants alive. Let me know in the comments, am I the only one that cannot keep a plant alive? My excuse is I've got 4 children, I have to focus on keeping them alive. Keeping plants alive would tip me over the edge. Dream holiday planning section. This really does cover so many different aspects of life. Then we've got a category challenge, a match the hinching products, reasons to be grateful checklist, and then back on to the journal. We've even got a little maze to get Henry out of. Some spot the difference between some illustrations. I'm assuming, due to the number of times that Sophie has already said in this activity journal that she can't draw, that these are not in fact her own illustrations. I would love to know. Because quite frankly, Sophie Hinchcliffe, if these are your illustrations and your drawings are very good, far better than mine. we go, we've got a list of projects you'd like to hinch here. Now, I'm not massive on being able to do projects myself. I enjoy planning a project. I'm not very artsy creative when it comes to picking up my own paintbrushes and things. I think partly because my husband is such a perfectionist. He built the house that we live in, and it's all, you know, done to a very high standard, that I kind of leave that stuff to him. So I like choosing things and planning things, but the actual practical painting and doing things, I don't do much of that. We've got a dream dinner party page, a list of people you'd most like to invite and questions you'd like to ask them in a dream dinner party. Change the way you think about yourself. If someone wants to ask me if I thought there were any bits of myself that need hinching, I'd be able to give them a much longer checklist than if they asked to name the positive things about myself. So I think we could all do with being a little more positive about ourselves, and there is a space there to reword the way we're thinking about ourselves. A colour Henry page. Mindfulness breathing exercises, some really good exercises and tips for if anyone is suffering from stress or anxiety. There's even a hinching Sudoku. Now, I've got to be honest, I've never done Sudoku. I know, I don't really understand it. And we've got a bit on hinching for the mind. This really is tapping in on cleaning, which is something that Mrs Hinch has admitted that she's done to sort of cope with anxiety, using as kind of a therapy. And I think a lot of us do that, don't we? I think we feel like clean house, clean mind. A letter to your 14-year-old self and a space to do your own. Well, my goodness, what would I say to my 14-year-old self? Where do I even begin? I think there is so much I would say to my 14-year-old self. Let me know if you know what you would say to your 14-year-old self. Let me know below in the comments. Little things in life. You don't have to go on holiday to a beautiful beach to be truly happy. You know, I'm a big believer in being at home, the joys of normal everyday life. If you can find joy in the small things, it really will make your days feel more positive and happy. And then some lovely ideas for just how you can feel a little bit happier day to day. Oh, a list of your favourite social media accounts, please. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, maybe I'll be on some of those. Mummy4UK, if you're not already following me on Instagram, pop over here. It's just here. Go follow me. Staying in versus going out. Underline your favourite from each pair. Slippers or heels, makeup or face mask, cuppa or cocktails, cosy or lit. Hinching soundtrack, crosswords, positive affirmations. I'll be honest, the first time I heard about positive affirmations, I thought they were, well, odd. The idea of sitting on the edge of my bed in the morning before I start my day repeating positive statements to myself out loud absolutely did not seem like a bit of me. What on earth would Jamie think if he caught me doing it? But trust me, Hinchers, I found them really helpful. I must admit that writing down positive affirmations, which are basically where you write down things as if they've already happened. So one positive affirmation actually, which I got from a friend of mine, what Katie said, I will link her social media accounts down below, is I am an exceptional wife and mother. So that's not saying that I feel like I am necessarily at the moment, but it's what I want to be. So by saying I am an exceptional wife and mother, that's what I am striving to be, striving to become, and therefore it is easier to work on that as a goal and to make it come true, or at least to try. There we go, we've got a dog recipe. Lots of like lovely quotes and affirmations throughout the book. Life lessons. Teacher, my mum. Lesson, you can only try your best. There we go. So we've got a space to write different teachers, lessons we've learned, and how this has helped me in life. Some more colouring. We've got a Mrs Hinch photo challenge. An Ava May wax melt scent word search. Now I've got to say, I may be very late to the party here, but I've not tried these Ava May wax melts yet, and I kind of want to. So have you tried them? Are they all they're cracked up to be? Do I need them in my life? Let me know. And then a bucket list. Rather things you'd like to achieve, your bucket list should be things you'd like to experience in your life, no matter how big or how small. Like, I really want to take my children to Disney World. It's on my bucket list. I really, really want to do it. So I guess I have written that as a goal, but it is probably more of a bucket list kind of item. Category challenge, we've got fill in the blanks with words that begin with another letter. So we've got to find things. We started with H. I thought there was a whole H themed thing, but we've got a different letters throughout the books. We've got C. We've got to think of a shop name C, an author, a celebrity, a cleaning product, a flower, a car model. That is enough to stretch my brain. And then goal review. Then you asked you to go back to page 19, check your first goal, and how have you progressed on it. Now this is a really nice touch point because it's so easy to write down our goals, and then if we don't assess how well we're doing with them, so for example, if you take my decluttering the house thing, if I just write down I want to declutter my whole house and I want it done by Christmas, and then we get to next June and the whole place is still a tip, it's not good, is it? Whereas a goal review and check-in from time to time is very helpful. So I'm glad that that has been put in the book. We have ... and then some ideas about spreading a little happiness. I feel like this should perhaps have been named Mrs Hinch's Happiness and Positivity and Self-Care and Spreading the Love Activity Journal, but I guess that wasn't as catchy. Got something about bedtime baskets and some more lovely inspirational quotes. Oh, I'm colouring the class. So cute. Ooh, a Soulmates Quiz. Now I feel like this would make a pretty good video for me and Daddy of 4, because I know the last video I did, which was a couples Q&A, which I shall link up here actually, you guys all really liked that and enjoyed that, and I know Daddy of 4 was a bit of a reluctant participant, but I feel like these 28 questions where you're supposed to, I think it's like the Mr. and Mrs. game, I think you're supposed to answer these about the other person. So will my husband know who is my celebrity crush, or what is my star sign? He might guess my celebrity crush. In fact, you guys probably know this. Let me know in the comments if you know my celebrity crush. He will definitely not know my star sign. What do they most like about you? What would be they'd be saddest for them to give up in a week? Let me know. Should I do that video with Daddy of 4? Let me know. And then we've got some doodling, some spot the difference, some prompts to write about your perfect day, a recipe for Sophie's mum's roast. Oh, and then we've got a find Sophie. Instead of where's Wally, it's a where's Sophie in the cleaning aisle to colour. Favourite movies, a little doodle where you find your way through the maze to help Sophie find her favourite cleaning product. Planning out me time. Now this is something I am massively guilty of ignoring and neglecting. Category challenge. We're back to H. There we go, H for Hinch. And let it go balloons. Sometimes we can swept up in worrying about things we cannot change, we have no control over. If I start feeling nervous about something, I have to remind myself worrying doesn't change the outcome. Whether you fret about something or not, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. More often than not, I found myself fearing the worst for absolutely no reason at all. What a waste. I love the idea of these balloons. Write your worries in them, let it go. How freeing is that? Get in charge of your phone. Today when I feel like I'm looking at my phone, I'm going to go outside, make a cup of tea, wipe a surface. I think we can all be a bit guilty of being addicted to our phones, can't we? Underline your favourite from each pair. Cleaning favourites, this or that. Space to relive some of your favourite memories. 5 senses challenge. Now this can be really good if you are suffering from anxiety. A really good tool that I know a lot of people find really, really helpful. We've got to clear the clutter as you would in a clockwise clean. Start at the door and work around each room in your house till you get back to the entrance. Use these pretty frames, label whichever room you identify the areas you could do with a declutter. As I've already said, I hadn't got to this page yet, but decluttering is part of my kind of mission and project at the moment. It's a big goal for me. It's something I'm working on, so I'll be filling out those pages. And gratitude. So the gratitude we have in here, starting with gratitude in the mornings is a really good practice. Counting your blessings and just realizing, you know, if we can be grateful for what we've got in our lives, we will ultimately be happier. Some more puzzles. Oh, where's Henry in amongst all the dogs? Oh, and a little mind map. I've got to say, I do love a mind map when I'm trying to plan things out. organize my goals. More Sudoku. I really need to learn how to do Sudoku, people. More space for doodling. And all of these pages that I'm showing you are interspersed with these hinch lists that are breaking it each week down into what you want to achieve. Section about coming home, and where it gives you space to write ideas for how you can make coming home to your house much nicer. You know, and then some stuff about natural highs. This really is packed full of great exercises. It's like therapy in a book. And we've got a category challenge with the letter E. Oh, I've just seen what she's doing there. It's the spelling out Hinchcliffe. Ah, baskets. I must say, I do like sorting everything by baskets. I've got a lot of baskets under my sinks, organising my cupboard. I've got more dot to dot and word search. Favourite TV shows, and circle some things that make you happy. A laugh a day. Space to write out 3 things that make you laugh and 3 people that make you laugh. Favourites. Which do you prefer to eat and drink? There's a little prompt where we say, I love to see your choices on Instagram, Hinchers. Don't forget to share the Mrs Hinch Activity Journal, and why not upload a blank copy so your friends can join in too. That's a really sweet idea. Oh, and another goal review. So back to the goal review. This is the second one. We're on page 256 now, and it's the second time that the lovely Mrs Hinch is asking us to review our goals. Now this is so sensible, because even one goal review sometimes can't be enough. The first goal review can kind of be like whoops, forgot about my goals. By the second goal review, you really need to have started making progress on things. And I do like that she's included these prompts. Okay, that's totally confused me now. Oh, it's Hinsher. Is it spelling Hinsher? Hinsher? There's an R. What does this spell? Does anyone know? Because this category challenge is R. We have some more lovely colouring, some more Sudoku with hinching items, and some reasons to be grateful check-in, the power of saying yes, and some more nice Instagrammable quotes. Life is better when you're laughing. And then we've got a nice little note from Lots of Love Soph. You did it, my Hinchers. You stuck with me and smashed it all the way through to the end of your activity journal. I'm so proud of you. You've done absolutely amazing. I hope you enjoyed completing this book as much as I love putting it together for you. I really hope it's managed to help you in some way, be it by giving you that much needed time out excuse, or helping you to organise some of your thoughts a bit more, or maybe even just by putting a big smile on your face. The thought of that just makes me so happy. Lots of love, Soph. And then we've got space at the end for notes. We've got a to-do list. I'm sure you love by now, I love my to-do list. I use them on days where my hinch list seems a bit too much, to help me to record and write down everything I've achieved that day. You usually get so much more done than you've ever realised. It's a really great way of acknowledging the accomplishments, particularly on those days we don't feel like tackling much. If I've got a list of things that need doing, and then I've done something that isn't on the list, I always add it to the list that turns my to-do list into the to-do list, just so I have the joy of ticking it off. Let me know if you do that too. And then we have some more sort of blank pages for kind of notes at the end. Oh, and then all the answers, which I'm not going to show you because you should figure those out for yourself. So overall review and impressions of the activity journal. It's not what I expected at all. This is much more than a journal. Like it says, it has got activities in it, but I think it's a lot more about kind of self-care and looking at what we're doing as people just to make ourselves happier. So all in all, if you haven't grabbed your copy now, you can do that using the link below. If you've liked this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 7 PM. My latest video is just over here, and more cleaning and decluttering videos are just down here. See you guys soon. Bye.